There will come a day. This day comes to everyone. During this day, you will be so sick and tired and realize that you hate the life that you are living. Maybe you're tired of being broke, tired of being fat, or just tired of being unhappy. In this day, you will be disgusted with yourself and all the bad habits that you do, all the wasted potential, all the time gone with nothing to show for it. You can either choose to continue living like that, or you can choose to change, choose to finally have a reawakening. This isn't going to be like all my other videos. This one's going to be personal. This one is coming straight from my heart. It's 1 a.m. in the morning, but I just had to record this video because I know there might be a few men out there, but first I want to explain why a reawakening. What is the meaning of that? The meaning is there's a select few who are born with a voice in their head that doesn't allow them to be average. And listen, you might think it's cringe, you might think it's funny, you might think what I'm saying is like putting a stunt up. I was different since the day I was born, and I'm not saying it in a good way. It is a curse. It is a blessing, but it is also a curse. Because I have a voice in my head, and it could honestly be a mental disorder. I don't know what it is. But there is a voice that lingers in my head, that talks to me, that tells me that I need to do more, that I need to become more, that I need to chase success. And honestly, I grew up so poorly. I'm not saying like I had any family issues. That's not the case. The case was I was just born so different. And I'm not saying that again to try to put up a stunt. When I was a kid, I saw other people around me. Everyone was trying to fit in. Everyone was trying to basically put a mask on to be different. And I was that kid in the corner, man. I was the kid in the corner who had no friends, who was looked down upon. Basically like those anime shows where you always have that one guy who was weak. He was a weakling. He had no powers, whatever it may be. And he becomes like a man who chases something more greater than himself. And I'm not it's just it's really that stemmed. And I went to middle school. I started from elementary school. I went to middle school. And I saw it. It get the more you aged in school, the more you realize that people really treated you poorly. It's social hierarchy. It's a food chain. And I was on the bottom. I was on the bottom of the food chain. Everyone around me treated me so bad. I was treated so poorly because I was on the bottom of the food chain. Again, I'm not saying this to make anyone feel bad. I'm just sharing my story here. So this is why, like, I shaved my head. Because, like I said, there's a voice inside of me that doesn't leave me. It doesn't leave me. At night, it it haunts me, honestly. But that voice is what is going to lead me to success because every successful person has that voice. That voice that tells them that they need to become more, that there's something greater inside of them. So I went through the high school years, and I just noticed the same thing. And I had a friend actually who was also like me, the only guy I've ever met in my life who had the same exact thought patterns as me. The thought pattern that you were meant for more, just like my last video, you were meant for something greater. That all of these people, they're trying to put on like a fake mask, act different, go to parties, do this, do that, fit in. We were people who, me and my friend, we were people who just we seriously looked at life in a different lens, and we were both treated pretty poorly because of that. Like I said, we were on the bottom of the food chain. And honestly, it does hurt, but it led me to become what I am today. Many people have told me that I'm cold hearted. Many people have told me that. And honestly, I really just am thinking like it might be the truth. Because I've been through so much where when you're that young and you're in the bottom of the food chain, going to school, no one's talking to you, no one's treating you good. You seriously start to that's when the voice really gets to you. That's when the voice pushes you. I think it would have been different honestly if no, honestly it wouldn't have. I was just born like this to be honest. I was born as the quiet guy who just observes everything, sees what's happening. And I know that if you're still watching this right now, you have that inside of you. You need to let that voice take control of your life because that is what is going to lead you to success. You have to realize that this is more than just some goals that you have, man. This is something that you must literally put everything into because you only have one life. God gives us each one chance. Are you going to sit down and do nothing? Let your days pass. Go on your phone for so many hours of the day, or are you going to seriously let that voice take control? There is a voice. Some may call it a monster. Whatever it may be, you must let it take control. Let it come out. Let all the pain that you've endured. Maybe you grew up fat. Maybe you grew up broke. Whatever it may be. For me personally, I grew up with the sense of loneliness, the sense of worthlessness that led me to become where I am today. Everyone has a pain. I know that you probably have a pain. You could try to cover it up. That's what I tried to do. For the past 3 months of my life, I tried to hide this voice in my head. I thought to myself that if I just ignore it and keep living an average life, go to work, come home, just try to live average, maybe play video games, watch some Netflix, whatever it may be, it'll go away eventually. I was wrong. The voice got worse. And I'm saying this with a serious face because it's something real. The voice got worse to the point where I was literally so depressed because I knew this voice was telling me you were supposed to be doing more. And like I said, I tried to ignore it. I tried to get rid of it, but it did not go away. It got worse. I woke up every day and it seemed like the voice was getting louder and louder and louder. I could put up an image of what it feels like. Only a select few have this voice, but I know that if you have it, you are destined for success, but you must be the one to go and obtain it. Life isn't fair, man. That's something I realized a long time ago. Something I realized is that you can't really change who you are. I tried to change so many times. So many people told me I need to change, that I'm not normal. And honestly, truth is, I probably am not normal. Like I said, this is probably a mental disorder. But like I said, I was born with it. So I could either choose to ignore it and have it haunt me for the rest of my life, or finally let it take over. And if you're watching this, I need you. If you have it, like I said, only a select few have this voice. I want you to let it take over as well because if you're watching this and you have it, you'll know if you have it. Trust me, you'll know. You'll know if you were born different. You'll know if people treat you worse because the way that you were born different. Like I said, different. What does that mean? It means that everyone around you acted in a certain way and you just couldn't act like them for some reason, some odd reason why. Why couldn't you act like them? That's something I asked myself for years and years. Why were you so different? Why do you act like this? Why are you like this? So many nights with tears in my eyes, thinking to myself, why am I like this? Until one day I woke up and I realized God made me this way. I could either fight it, or I could bring it into reality. Accept the fact that I was born with this voice. I was born to be a part of the rest, to make sure I fulfill my God given purpose, my destiny for this life. And although it's going to be hard, you must come to terms with that. If you also feel like there's something greater for you, you must come to terms that it's going to be hard. You're going to go through a lot of difficulties, but in the end, it is worth it.